Hello, and welcome back to English Mastery Hub and our series Study English with Me. Once again, I am Karen, and you are in Karen's Corner. For today's podcast, I've decided to follow a different route. We are going to read something out of a English newspaper. So to do that, we go to tips and tools and we click on browse the web. So I have done that, and the article that we are going to look at for today is tea or coffee, which is better for you? We are going to read the article together, and then we're going to talk about some of the grammar and the vocabulary to be found in the article. So I want you to practice the technique of shadowing. Mouth along with me so that you can shape the words with your lips silently, and this will greatly improve your pronunciation. Tea or coffee? Which is better for you? Brits love tea and coffee. They are the two beverages we drink most of in the UK. Sometimes we choose one over the other based on the belief it's healthier, better for keeping us alert, or for calming us, or has fewer side effects. But is there any real reason to choose between tea or coffee other than personal preference? Wakey, wakey. The low to moderate amount of caffeine typically contained in a cup of coffee has been found to improve alertness, attention, and reaction time, but has less consistent effects on memory, judgment, and decision making. Doesn't that look gorgeous? The perfect mocha coffee. Could this coffee based drink help keep tiredness at bay? There is evidence the effects of caffeine in a cup of tea are enhanced by an amino acid it contains called L-theanine if it is drunk regularly. The research finds L-theanine may interact with caffeine to enhance performance in terms of attention switching and the ability to ignore distraction. So, if you find tea has a more positive effect on keeping you alert, you might be right. What's the price of all this alertness? After 5 to 6 hours, around half the caffeine you've drunk will still be in your system. And after 10 to 12 hours, a quarter of it could still be there, according to sleep scientist Matt Walker. This means you may have trouble falling or staying asleep. Some people tell me they can have an espresso with dinner and fall asleep fine, says Walker. But caffeine can decrease the amount of restorative deep sleep you have. And as a consequence, you can wake up the next morning and not feel refreshed, he continues. One study concludes day-long tea consumption produces similar alerting effects to coffee despite lower caffeine levels, but is less likely to disrupt sleep. Either way, it's advisable to limit your consumption of caffeinated drinks, especially those higher in the stimulant, to a long time before you go to bed. A calming cuppa. Rather than aiming to get a buzz, some people reach for a hot drink to relax. A University College London study found drinking black tea may speed up recovery from the daily stresses in life, according to Andrew Steptoe, professor of the university's Department of Epidemiology and Public Health. But we do not know what ingredients of tea were responsible for these effects on stress recovery and relaxation, he added. Masala chai. Do you find tea relaxes you? If so, this spiced chai drink will appeal. My favorite. Low caffeine green tea has also been found to reduce stress in some people. The researchers put this down to the earlier mentioned amino acid L-theanine, which has been found to reduce acute stress and anxiety. L-theanine is also present in lower concentrations in black tea. Therefore, there's less research on the effects of coffee on stress, but researchers have found moderate to high amounts of caffeine are linked to higher levels of anxiety. The NHS advises drinking too much caffeine can make you more anxious than normal. So reaching for a decaf is best when you are looking to relax. I'm not going to carry on with the rest of the article in how much tea or coffee stains your teeth. We are going to focus on the beginning part of the article on drinking between coffee and tea, depending on your personal favorite. Now, if we look over the article again, we have words that we can click on, such as beverages, and we will get a meaning of the word. Beverages, what do we mean by that word? Let's scroll down and see. It is a liquid to consume, a drink such as tea or coffee, milk, juice, or soft drinks, usually excluding water. So that is what beverage means. As per usual, you can translate it into your own language, whatever that may be, and you can then play it back to yourself and remember the meaning easily. Deklinierte Form, beverage. Okay. Getrank, as genomen wasser. This excludes the water beverage. My German is not very good. What else can we find to add to our glossary? Things such as consistent. We click on consistent. It means occurring regularly, of a dependent nature. And he is very consistent in his political choices. You need to go through the article and find words that you want to add to your vocabulary. I have added words to my vocabulary today. The vocabulary, as by now you should know, is found under the control panel. And the vocabulary looks like this. There is a graph of words you have just learned, words that you are confident with, and words that you use daily. And this graph is your tracker of the words you've learned. You can also do what I do often, just go and add any new word that you come across while studying or reading or listening to the TV. Add the new word into your own glossary and set reminders for words that you don't know, And in this way, you can improve your vocabulary. Going back to the article itself, I want us to look for conjunctions in the article. So the article says that, and for some reason I keep on losing the top of the article. So let's browse again. There we go. Tea or coffee, which is better for you? So we've looked at the beverages. I want today to look for conjunctions, and I'm going to see if I can highlight them, and then we're going to talk about conjunctions in our grammar session. So, but is a conjunction. We can highlight but. Other than personal preference. But is there any real reason that we can choose between tea or coffee? Who of you know what a conjunction does? Now, I always think of the word conjoin, conjunct, means words that link two things together. And this is effectively what a conjunction does. It joins phrases or clauses or words together and makes your writing flow more logically and more coordinated, because there's a relationship between one section of what you're writing and the other, instead of writing bullet points where they don't join together at all. Conjunctions help link the different ideas in the passage together. So, but is one of the conjunctions that we can look at here. The low to moderate to contain and has been found to, and there we find but for a second time. There is evidence. The research says so is a conjunction, and you can see how they use to link the different ideas together. What's the price after 5 hours? This means, some people tell me, but. But is a very common conjunction. One study concludes that despite low, but. So we have many buts in this article. But is not the only conjunction that we're going to talk about. There are others that you can also talk about. Rather than aiming to get a buzz, some people feel, Professor said, but we do not know the ingredients. Do stress, put this down, which there's less, but researchers have found too much coffee. So, another conjunction. So we have seen that in this article, primarily we have but and so. But there are many more conjunctions that we can look at. Now, there is quite a simple anagram, which is the first letter of each word, that you can remember to remember all the common conjunctions. And this anagram is fanboys. FANBOYS. And these are coordinating conjunctions that link your sections of your writing together. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So you get fanboys. For and nor, but, or, yet, and so. The 7 common coordinating conjunctions that we have in English. Today we looked primarily at but and so. Let's pop over to our grammar book and look at some other conjunctions. Conjunctions and prepositions start on page 132, slide 132, and so we are going to look at conjunctions. And these conjunctions that they give you here are connecting independent and dependent clauses together. So we have although, though, even though, in spite of, or despite. All of these express contrast. Although, though, and even though, plus a full sentence. So we get a independent clause connected to a dependent clause showing contrast or cause or condition or time. So, although it was cold, contrast, it was cold, we went swimming. In spite of, we use with a noun or a gerund. A gerund is a verb which we use as a noun by adding ing. In spite of the cold, we went swimming. And then despite feeling tired, she went to work. So you can see all of these show contrast. What you would expect to happen and what did happen do not really go together. They contrast with each other. And then we have in case, unless, as long, or provided. And these express condition. And then unless, if not, as long as, and provided that. I won't go unless you come. You can stay as long as you are quiet. So you can see they link a dependent and an independent clause together. Used to show precaution or possibility. In case, for example, take a coat in case it gets cold. I brought you some snacks in case you are hungry. So you can see that we use lots of conjunctions in everyday language. Do not be afraid of adding them into your sentences. Remember, as Albert Einstein said, that the person who never made a mistake never tries anything new. I want you this week to try something new and drop me a comment below the video telling me what new aspect of English you tried out this week. Did you use fanboys? Did you add these conjunctions into your sentences? Do get in touch. I'd love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.